Okay, so this is LCS environment. This is LCS where your UAT and production environments are hosted in the cloud, right? So I want to go into implementation project and go into the production environment. Okay, so the main focus is going to and checking, exploring environment monitoring in order to um, diagnose performance performance issue and practically troubleshoot those performance issue, right? So this is your environment monitoring page. Hmm. Now the environment monitoring page has the overview, has the activity tab, has the head metrics, and the SQL insights, right? So let's start with the overview. Like the name says, it gives you an overview of the state of different bash URLs and the application object servers, and gives you analytics about SQL utilization and some other metrics as well, which can also help you to be able to understand what is happening in your environment in terms of user load, user activities, and the activity load on the bash OS. So we can check for the last 15 minutes. That's what this indicates here. And you can see that the time is actually in UTC because my current time is actually 5 and this is 4 here. So you can you can check this out. So we have some result here. We can see right now there's not much query going on in this environment because the SQL utilization is actually very low, right? And we can see the activity, like the request on the bash AS one was relatively slow, but we have two outliers. We have 2 points where we can see at this point and at this point there are a little bit of spike. Um, Not something to be worried about, but at least it shows that a little bit of spike there. And then bash AS two, relatively low request, and we can see the very low request on the application object servers for both of them. So we can get more information on the user load on Bash, both Bash ASs. So this environment has just two Bash ASs right now, and we can get some insights from the analytics as seen here. Okay, so let's go over to the activity. So the activity contains um, different queries, different SQL queries that you can actually run against the bash ARSs and to get information, to get telemetry, to do your analysis on the production environment, right? And then you can actually use customized dates to get information with respect to any time and any date that you want, right? You can actually input the search terms if you're looking for something specific, right? So you can have we have different um, um, queries available. These are queries available in the your environment, Microsoft Managed environment. You have all error logs. If you want to see our error logs, you have the user login events. You want to see users login. So we have a lot of them right here. You want to see slow interactions like slow queries. You want to see all the crashes in your environment, and also very important, you want to see deadlocks in the system, right? So we have different type of queries here that you can utilize. Different type of queries that you can utilize as well. So let's go back to the head metrics. So currently, you see there's an intention here that the head metric tab is in maintenance mode. Okay, all right. So the head metrics actually has two sections: one for the application object servers and one for the system. right, to give you information on the system. So it's currently loading the metric. Now you can see that we have analytics uh, for our memory, available memory at this point in time. And we can see that there's actually low activity going on in the environment at this time. That's why our CPU utilization is very low, right? Mm, So, so that is that. If you want to do it down into a specific area or a specific server, you can do this. Let's say we just want to look into the areas one. So you can have this information for this. So if you want to check just batch areas two, you can select as well for batch areas two. But if you want to run everything concurrently and view all of them together, you can select all of them. And let's say you want to search for a particular time, you can put the time here and the period, and you want to see what happened the last 1 month, the last 1 week, last 1 day. You can actually do that same thing. So it's nice. The same thing applies to your ARS, right? You can see for SQL deadlocks, you want to see get information about SQL deadlock and duplicate key exceptions and all the SQL statement on the ARS server. You can get that as well. So where you should put more interest in is the SQL Insight tab. So the SQL Insight tab contains three sub panes or sub tabs, which involves the query, the query actions, and live view, right? So the query, this is where it gives you um, information about the current blocking trees, current running queries, and to get the current blocking statement, right? Uh, Currently, there's no production issues on this environment right now, but we can just try and run this query to see if we can get anything right. So if you want to use the fast query, what this fast query does is it gives you an asynchronous, it gives you an asynchronous result, right? Let's say for instance you're running this query without the fast tab, and then you get a timeout issue because it's trying to get the time response, real-time result from the query, and then the times that. What you can do, uh, you can turn this on to get an asynchronous result, just a little bit, um, just a little bit different from the real time. But it's going to be actually fast and very. The result is going to be useful in your analytics, in your diagnosis, and in your troubleshooting. So let's execute and see if we can have any query results here. So you see there's no result right now because everything is fine with this production environment. We can also check for other queries as well. Let's see if we can get a blocking tree. Okay, it's expected. So there's nothing here as well. So we can go over to the action tab. The action tab, what the action tab does is to help you end an SQL process. Ending an SQL process is like killing a process in Windows or in a Linux machine, right? So what this means is that let's say for instance you're having production problem, like you're having slow performance in your production environment or in your UAT as well. And from this query, you can get the information about this statement that has been running for a very long time, consuming a lot of resources. You can then collect the SPID and go over here. And after you're completely sure that that statement is as a result of a bad query, and maybe there are other processes that you need to be completed, right? And this currently executing statement is actually consuming a lot of threads, a lot of resources in your environment, and you've decided that the next step to take is to kill the process. What you can do is to take the SPID, right? So is the SPID is the process ID for that SQL process on the server. So you can put it here. Let's say for instance the SPID is 125. You can put 125 here. You put 125, then you execute, right? And then it goes ahead and then kills the process and provides that automatically provides resources for other process to run. A very good instance would be, let's say, for instance, you're running an MRP master planning batch job, and it's consuming a lot of resources, but you need a let's say like a workflow message processing badge up to process workflow to send to the warehouse or to send a sales order or invoice, and you need it to be done immediately, and your MRP badge up is actually taking a lot of time, so you can just make a decision to key the process. When you key that process, it rolls back the master planning badge up, and then there'll there'll be available threads to take the batch tags for the workflow and process it immediately, and that actually helps a lot, right? So you have the live view. What the live view does is that it gives you real-time data, right? It gives you real-time data of the currently executing statement and also the blocking statement. So like I said before, this environment is actually fine, it's healthy, right? It's very healthy. So we are not experiencing anything, but I can just click this so we can load the data, and you can see it's currently processing your request, and there's no currently blocking statement and no currently executing statement as well. So everything is fine. So everything is actually fine here. So this is just the overview, right, of environment monitoring in production environment or Microsoft managed environment for um, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. So thank you. Until next time, do have a wonderful day and a wonderful week ahead. Bye.